Listen, I don't care if this hurts your feelings. I don't care if you don't like what I'm about to tell you. What I care about is whether you're going to be rich or poor in 10 years. And right now, if you're committing any of these 7 financial sins, you're on a fast track to being broke, not struggling, not getting by, broke. I'm Kevin O'Leary, and I've built multiple businesses from scratch. I've made hundreds of millions of dollars. I've also watched millions evaporate overnight. And the difference between the people who build lasting wealth and the people who die broke isn't luck. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. And most of you are doing it wrong. Before I reveal these 7 deadly financial sins that are destroying your future, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it like your financial future depends on it, because it does. This channel isn't here to make you feel good. This channel is here to make you rich. We tell the truth here. The brutal, uncomfortable truth that your parents won't tell you, that your friends won't tell you, that your financial advisor is too scared to tell you. So subscribe, become a member, join this community of people who actually want to win with money. Now, let's get one thing straight. You have been lied to your entire life about money. Your parents told you to go to school, get a good job, work hard, and everything would be fine. That was true in 1975. It's not true anymore. The rules have changed. The game has changed. And if you're still playing by the old rules, you're going to get absolutely destroyed. Here's what most people don't understand. Building wealth isn't complicated. It's actually very simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. There are 7 things, 7 financial sins that will guarantee you stay poor for the rest of your life. And I see people committing these sins every single day. I see it on Shark Tank. I see it in my business dealings. I see it everywhere I look. And the worst part, most people don't even know they're doing it. They think they're being smart. They think they're making good decisions, but they're not. They're following the herd straight off a cliff. I've been investing for over 40 years. I've seen people start with nothing and build empires. I've seen people inherit millions and lose it all. The difference isn't intelligence. It's not education. It's behavior. It's the decisions you make every single day about your money. So why am I making this video? Because I'm seeing an entire generation sleepwalking into financial disaster. I'm seeing people make the same mistakes over and over again. And I'm tired of watching smart people destroy their financial futures because nobody had the guts to tell them the truth. The 7 sins I'm about to show you, these aren't opinions. These aren't theories. These are mathematical certainties. If you commit these sins, you will be poor. Period. End of story. The numbers don't lie. And I'm going to show you exactly what the numbers say. Are you ready? Are you ready to look in the mirror and be honest about whether you're committing these sins? Good, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of growth. And if you want to be wealthy, you need to grow. Let's start with financial sin number 1. Financial sin, has-shown carrying credit card debt. This is the big one. This is the sin that destroys more financial futures than anything else. If you are carrying a balance on your credit cards month to month, you are committing financial suicide. And I don't care what excuse you have. I don't care if you had an emergency. I don't care if you needed it for something important. Credit card debt is a cancer that will eat you alive. Here's why. The average credit card interest rate right now is around 20%. 20%. You understand what that means? That means if you have $10,000 in credit card debt, you're paying $2,000 a year just in interest. That's $2,000. That's gone forever. You're not building equity. You're not investing in anything. You're just throwing money into a fire. But it gets worse. Because of compound interest, that debt grows exponentially if you're only making minimum payments. A $10,000 balance at 20% interest, if you only make minimum payments, will take you 30 years to pay off. 30 years, and you'll pay over $20,000 in interest alone. You'll pay 3 times what you borrowed. I see this all the time on Shark Tank. Entrepreneurs come in with great businesses, but they've maxed out their credit cards to fund them. And you know what I tell them? I tell them they're idiots. Because credit card debt is the most expensive money you can possibly borrow. There's no scenario, none, where carrying credit card debt makes financial sense. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Kevin, I had an emergency. I didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. You chose not to have an emergency fund. You chose to live beyond your means. You chose to buy things you couldn't afford. And now you're paying the price. Here's the death spiral. You carry credit card debt. That debt generates interest. That interest makes it harder to pay off the principal. So you keep carrying the balance. Meanwhile, you can't save money because you're throwing it all at interest payments. So when the next emergency happens, you have to use the credit card again, and the cycle continues. This is how people stay poor forever. They get trapped in the credit card cycle and they never escape. 20 years go by and they're still carrying balances, still paying interest, still broke. The average American household with credit card debt carries about $17,000 in balances. At 20% interest, that's $3,400 a year in interest payments. That's money that could be invested. That's money that could be building wealth. Instead, it's making credit card companies rich. Financial sin, #2, not paying yourself first. Here's the second sin, and this one is just as deadly. If you're not paying yourself first, if you're not automatically investing at least 10% of every dollar you make, you will never build wealth. Never. I don't care how much you earn. Let me explain what paying yourself first means. It means that before you pay your rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else, you take 10% of your income and you invest it automatically. Not when you feel like it. Not when you have extra money. Every single time money comes in, 10% goes straight into investments. Most people do it backwards. They pay everyone else first. They pay the landlord, they pay the credit card companies, they pay for food and gas and entertainment. And then, if there's anything left over, they think about saving. But there's never anything left over. There's always something else to spend it on. I've been paying myself first for 40 years. When I was starting out, making $30,000 a year, I still paid myself first. That meant $3,000 a year went into investments before I spent a dime on anything else. Was it hard? Yes. Did I have to make sacrifices? Absolutely. But you know what? That discipline is why I'm rich today and why most people are broke. Here's the math. If you make $50,000 a year and you invest 10%, that's $5,000 a year. If you do that for 30 years and earn an average 8% return, you'll have $566,000. If you invest 15%, you'll have $850,000. That's the difference between retiring broke and retiring comfortable. But most people don't do it. They say, I can't afford to save 10%. You know what? You can't afford not to. Because if you don't pay yourself first, you're working to make everyone else rich. You're making your landlord rich. You're making the credit card companies rich. You're making retailers rich. But you're staying poor. The truth is, you will spend whatever money is available. If you have $4,000 in your checking account, you'll find a way to spend $4,000. If you have $3,600 in your checking account because you already moved $400 to investments, you'll find a way to live on $3,600. It's called Parkinson's Law. Expenses expand to meet income. So automate it. Set up automatic transfers. On the day you get paid, before you even see the money, 10% goes to investments. Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Financial sin, #3. Buying liabilities, thinking they're assets. This is the sin that middle-class people commit constantly. They buy things that go down in value and they think they're investing. They think they're building wealth, but they're not. They're destroying it. Let me be very clear about something. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the only definition that matters. I don't care what your accountant says. I don't care what convention says. If it's not generating income, it's not an asset. Your car is not an asset. I know you paid $35,000 for it. I know you love it, but it's not an asset. It's a liability. It goes down in value every single day. It costs you money in insurance, gas, maintenance, and depreciation. It takes money out of your pocket every month. Your primary residence is not an investment. I know. Everyone told you it is. Your real estate agent told you it is, but it's not. It's a place you live. It costs you money every month in mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. Yes, it might go up in value over time, but while you own it, it's a liability because it's taking money out of your pocket. Your boat is not an asset. Your fancy watch collection is not an asset. Your designer clothes are not assets. They're all liabilities. They're all things that take money out of your pocket and give you nothing back except the temporary pleasure of owning them. Here's what kills me. I see people making $75,000 a year buying $50,000 cars. They finance it for 7 years. They pay $700 a month. Over 7 years, they pay $58,800 for a car that's worth $20,000. When they're done paying for it, they just lit $38,800 on fire. And they think they made a smart decision because they needed a nice car. No, you didn't. You wanted a nice car. There's a difference. Need is a $10,000 used Honda that gets you to work. Want is a $50,000 BMW that makes you feel important. The average American has $30,000 tied up in vehicles. If they had invested that $30,000 instead and earned 8% for 20 years, it would be worth $140,000. But instead, it's sitting in their driveway, depreciating, costing them money every month. Real assets are things like rental properties that generate cash flow, dividend-paying stocks that send you checks, businesses that produce profit, bonds that pay interest. These are assets because they put money in your pocket. Everything else is a liability. And if your balance sheet is full of liabilities and empty of assets, you're going to be poor. It's that simple. Financial sin #4, not having multiple income streams. Here's sin number 4. And this is where most people get stuck forever. If you only have one source of income, if your only income is your job, you are one layoff away from financial disaster, one company decision away from being broke. And that's not a position of strength. That's a position of extreme vulnerability. I have never, ever met a wealthy person who only had one source of income. Never. Every single wealthy person I know has multiple streams of income. They have their business, they have investments, they have rental properties, they have royalties, they have consulting income, they have multiple ways that money flows into their life. Why? Because they understand that relying on one source of income is financial suicide. Companies downsize, industries change, economies crash, jobs disappear. And if all your eggs are in one basket, when that basket breaks, you're finished. The average millionaire has 7 different income streams. 7. They might have income from their job or business, income from rental properties, income from stock dividends, income from a side business, income from royalties or licensing, income from consulting, income from online courses or digital products. Most people have one, their job, and they think that's enough. It's not. It's not even close. Here's what happened in 2008. Millions of people lost their jobs. The economy crashed. And people who had only one source of income were destroyed. They couldn't pay their mortgages. They lost their houses. Their lives fell apart. But people who had multiple income streams, they took a hit, sure, but they survived. Because when one stream dried up, they had 6 others still flowing. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Kevin, I barely have time for my job. How am I supposed to create 7 income streams? And that's exactly the wrong question. The right question is, how can I afford not to? You don't need to create 7 streams overnight. You create them one at a time. You start a side business. You buy your first rental property. You invest in dividend stocks. You create a digital product. You develop a skill you can consult on. I started with my job. Then I started a business. Then I invested in real estate. Then I invested in stocks. Then I created licensing deals. Then I did television. Each stream was built over time. But now I have income flowing from dozens of different sources. And that gives me security that people with one job will never have. The statistics are brutal. The 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Why? because they have one source of income and they spend everything they make. When that income stops, they're done. Don't be that person. Start building your second income stream today, not tomorrow, today. Financial sin #5, investing in things you don't understand. Financial sin number 5 is one I see constantly, and it drives me insane. People invest in things they don't understand. They buy stocks they can't explain. They invest in cryptocurrencies they don't comprehend. They put money into businesses they don't get, and then they're shocked when they lose everything. Here's my rule, and it's a simple one. If you can't explain an investment to a 1-2-year-old, you shouldn't put your money in it. If you don't understand how it makes money, you shouldn't invest. If you can't articulate the risks, stay away. Warren Buffett has made tens of billions of dollars following one simple principle. Only invest in what you understand. He doesn't invest in tech companies he doesn't understand. He doesn't chase hot trends. He invests in businesses with simple models that make sense. Coca-Cola sells sugar water at a profit. American Express charges fees on transactions. These are businesses anyone can understand. But people don't follow this rule. They hear about some hot stock from a friend. They read about cryptocurrency on social media. They see someone made money on NFTs or meme stocks, and they jump in without doing any research, without understanding what they're buying, without having any idea what the risks are. In 2021, millions of people bought Dogecoin because it was going up and because Elon Musk tweeted about it. They had no idea what they were buying. They didn't understand the technology. They didn't understand the tokenomics. They just knew it was going up. And then it crashed, and they lost 80% of their money. I've been investing for 40 years. And you know what? I've passed on hundreds of opportunities because I didn't understand them. Did I miss out on some winners? Absolutely. But I also avoided catastrophic losses because investing in something you don't understand isn't investing. It's gambling. And gambling is a great way to go broke. Here's the death spiral. You invest in something you don't understand, it goes down. You don't know why it's going down because you didn't understand it in the first place. You panic, you sell at the bottom, you lose money. Then you swear off investing forever, and you guarantee that you'll never build wealth. The average investor underperforms the market by 3 to 4% per year. Why? Because they chase returns. They buy high and sell low. They invest in things they don't understand. They make emotional decisions. If you don't understand real estate, don't invest in real estate. If you don't understand the stock market, don't pick individual stocks. Stick with simple index funds until you educate yourself. If you don't understand a business model, don't invest in that business. Education comes before investment. Always. Without exception. Financial sin, #6, not tracking your spending. Financial sin number 6 is the one that keeps people broke even when they make good money. They don't track their spending. They have no idea where their money goes. They just spend and then wonder why there's nothing left at the end of the month. Let me tell you something. You cannot manage what you do not measure. If you're not tracking every single dollar that leaves your account, you are flying blind. You're trying to navigate with no map, no compass, and no destination, and you're going to crash. I track every penny I spend. Every single transaction gets categorized. Every purchase gets reviewed. Not because I'm cheap, because I'm smart. Because money that you don't track disappears. It evaporates. It goes to things you don't value and don't remember. Studies show that people who don't track their spending underestimate their expenses by 20-30%. They think they spend $3,000 a month. They actually spend $4,000. That extra $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year that they can't account for. That's $12,000 that could have been invested over 30 years at 8% return. That's $1.3 million. They're literally spending away their retirement and they don't even know what they spent it on. I see this all the time. People come to me for advice. They say, Kevin, I make $100,000 a year. I should be building wealth, but I have nothing saved. Where is my money going? And I tell them to track every expense for 1 month. And they're always shocked at how much they're spending on restaurants, shocked at how much they're spending on subscriptions they forgot about, shocked at how much they're spending on random stuff they don't need. The average person has $273 worth of subscription services they're not using. They signed up for them. They forgot about them. And they're paying every single month for things they never use. Multiply that by 12 months, and that's $3,276 a year going down the drain. But it's not just subscriptions. It's coffee. It's lunch. It's impulse purchases. It's convenience spending. It's all the little things that add up to big money. Here's what I want you to do. For the next 30 days, track every single purchase. Every coffee, every meal, every app purchase, everything. Use a spreadsheet. Use an app. I don't care. Just track it. At the end of the month, categorize everything. Look at where your money actually went. I guarantee you'll be shocked because here's the truth. You can't fix what you can't see. You can't change habits you're not aware of. And you can't build wealth if money is leaking out of your life and you don't even know where the holes are. Wealthy people know exactly where their money goes. Poor people have no idea. It's that simple. Financial sin, #7, waiting to start. And here we are. Financial sin number 7, the deadliest sin of all, waiting to start. Telling yourself you'll start saving next year. Telling yourself you'll start investing when you make more money. Telling yourself you'll start building wealth when the time is right. The time is never right. The circumstances are never perfect. You will never feel completely ready. And while you're waiting, time is passing. And time is the most valuable asset you have when it comes to building wealth. Let me show you why waiting is so deadly. Let's say you're 25 years old. You invest $5,000 a year for 10 years, then stop. You invest a total of $50,000. By the time you're 65, at 8% return, you'll have $787,000. Now let's say you wait until you're 35 to start. You invest $5,000 a year for 30 years. You invest a total of $150,000. By the time you're 65, you'll have $566,000. You invested 3 times as much money and you ended up with less. Why? Because you lost 10 years of compound growth. This is what Albert Einstein called the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. Every year you wait costs you exponentially. But people wait. They say, I'll start when I'm making $100,000. They say, I'll start when I pay off my student loans. They say, I'll start when I buy a house. And 20 years go by and they still haven't started. And by then, it's almost too late. I started investing in my early 22nd when I was making practically nothing. I was eating ramen noodles so I could invest $100 a month. People thought I was crazy. But you know what? That discipline, that commitment to starting even when it was hard, that's what set me up for success. The average American starts seriously saving for retirement in their 42nd. By then, they've lost 20 years of compound growth. They'll have to save dramatically more to catch up. And most of them never do. They retire broke or they never retire at all. I see 50-year-olds come to me for advice and they have $50,000 saved for retirement. And they ask me if they can retire at 65. And I have to be honest with them. No, you can't. You needed to start 25 years ago. Now you're going to work until you're 75 or 80, or you're going to live on Social Security, which is poverty. That's brutal. That's harsh, but it's the truth. And the truth is what you need to hear. Here's what kills me. Starting is so easy. You don't need $10,000 to start. You don't need $1,000 to start. You can start with $50, open a brokerage account, buy an index fund, automate $50 a month. That's it. You've started. You're in the game. And once you're in the game, you can increase it. You can build on it. But you have to start. The people who wait are the same people who end up broke at 70 years old, wondering where it all went wrong. And I can tell you exactly where it went wrong. It went wrong when they said, I'll start next year. And next year never came. So what should you do instead? Now, I've spent this entire video telling you what not to do. I've shown you the 7 financial sins that will keep you poor forever. But I can hear you asking, okay, Kevin, I get it. I'm screwing up, but what should I actually do? Fair question. Here's your blueprint. Here's exactly what you need to do starting today. First, if you have credit card debt, paying that off becomes your #1 priority. Not number two, not number three. Number one, cut your expenses to the bone, work extra hours, sell stuff you don't need, do whatever it takes to eliminate that debt. Because every month you carry that balance, you're setting yourself back years. Second, pay yourself first. Today, not tomorrow. Set up automatic transfers. 10% of every dollar you earn goes to investments before you spend a penny on anything else. If 10% feels impossible, start with 5%. If 5% feels impossible, start with 1%. But start. Third, make a list of everything you own that's a liability. Your fancy car, your jet ski, your luxury items. Look at what they're costing you. Calculate what that money could become if you invested it instead. Then make hard decisions about what actually matters to you. Fourth, start building your second income stream. What skills do you have? What could you teach? What could you sell? What service could you provide? Dedicate 5 hours a week to building something on the side. In 1 year, you'll have built something that generates income. In 5 years, it could match your day job. Fifth, before you invest another dollar, educate yourself. Read books, take courses, watch videos, learn how the stock market works, learn how real estate works, learn how businesses make money. Don't invest in anything until you can explain it clearly. Sixth, download a spending tracker app right now, today, and for the next 30 days, track everything, every purchase, every transaction. At the end of 30 days, analyze where your money went, cut the waste, redirect that money to investments. Seventh, start today. Not next week, not next month, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Open that brokerage account, make that first investment, even if it's $50. Because the longest journey begins with a single step, and every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. The choice is yours. Here's what I want you to understand. These 7 financial sins, they're not complicated, they're not hard to understand, but they're incredibly easy to commit. Because they're comfortable, because they're what everyone else is doing, because they don't require you to change or sacrifice or think differently. But comfortable is the enemy of wealthy. Everyone around you is committing these sins, and everyone around you is broke or heading toward broke. If you do what everyone else does, you'll get what everyone else gets. And what everyone else gets is decades of financial stress followed by a retirement of struggle. I've given you the roadmap. I've shown you exactly what not to do and exactly what to do instead. The question now is simple. Are you going to act? Or are you going to close this video, nod along, and then go back to committing the same sins you were committing before? Because information without action is useless. I can give you the perfect plan, but if you don't execute, it doesn't matter. You'll still be broke in 10 years, wondering why your life turned out the way it did. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've seen thousands of people receive this information, and 95% of them do nothing with it. They intellectually agree. They say, yeah, Kevin's right. And then they don't change a single behavior. And 5 years later, they're in exactly the same position or worse. Don't be that person. Take out your phone right now. Open your banking app. Set up an automatic transfer to a brokerage account. 10% every paycheck. Automatic. Do it right now while you're thinking about it. Because if you wait, you won't do it. If this video opened your eyes, if it made you uncomfortable, if it made you realize you've been committing these sins, I need you to smash that like button right now. I need you to share this video with everyone you know who needs to hear this message. Because the greatest gift you can give someone is truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And I need you to subscribe to this channel and become a member, because this is where we tell it like it is. This is where we don't sugarcoat. This is where we give you the information you need to actually win with money. You know what separates rich people from poor people? Rich people take action. They don't just consume information, they implement it. They change their behavior. They make hard decisions. They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term success. So here's my challenge to you. In the next 24 hours, take one action. Just one. Pay $500 towards your credit card. Set up that automatic investment. Cancel 3 subscriptions you don't use. Start tracking your spending. Build a website for your side business idea. Read the first chapter of an investing book. Just one action, because one action leads to momentum, and momentum leads to more action, and more action leads to results, and results lead to wealth. The choice is yours. You can keep committing these 7 financial sins and guarantee yourself a life of financial struggle, or you can stop right now, today, and start building the wealth you deserve. I've laid it all out for you. The rest is up to you. Remember, the market doesn't care about your excuses. The economy doesn't care about your intentions. Your future doesn't care about what you meant to do. It only cares about what you actually did. So what are you going to do? Thank you for watching. Now stop watching and start